Everyone, so today I'm working on my sports jersey pattern, and we're going to be working on sewing the last part of the v-neck. I know some of you were having troubles with that, so I thought a video might help. Now I ran out of lining for my mesh, so I'm just using cotton lycra. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and sewn my neck band, leaving a 1-inch gap when I started and when I ended, and you should have a little 1/4-inch clip at the center V point on your shirt, and your neck band should be sewn together like this. So the part I think everyone was having an issue with was when we go to fold this up and then sew it in place. So fold it down so that you have a 1/4-inch folded over, and the center V point on your shirt should match up with the stitching that you did on the neck band. So you're just going to fold that up to where it matches with the seam that you had created on the neck band, and then you're going to pin that in place. Try and make sure you don't get the back side of your shirt. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with the other side. Fold it down. I find that the second side has to be stretched slightly, so knowing that might help you guys. Okay, and then pin that side in place. As you can see, with it pinned in place, I've got a fairly decent little point on my V, which is the reason why I wanted to teach this technique, because I find that it gives you a nice sharper V. So let's go ahead and move over to the machine and we'll get it sewn. Alright guys, so we're ready to start sewing this up. Now I'm using a twin needle. If you aren't using a twin needle, you need to make sure that you are using a stretch stitch, a zigzag of some sort, an actual stretch stitch. It looks more like a lightning bolt. On my machine that's a stitch 3. I have a brother. If you have a different machine, it's likely something different, but so long as you use some sort of zigzag stitch, your fabric should still stretch. Now I've already got this in place. I did have to turn this needle because it was in the way of my stitching. So if you need to turn your needle the opposite direction, you should probably go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to start stitching and hope that you guys can see it. You want to be really careful and go pretty slow while you're going over the gap, because you want to make sure that your fabric doesn't get out of place like mine just did. So go really slow and hold it in place the best that you can. If you end up with a few stitches showing, that's fine. You can go in and remove them later. This foot is not great for knits, but I like to use it because it's clear and I can see through it. Unfortunately, that means that I have to lift my foot up quite a bit while I'm doing this, but I've gotten used to it. You want to make sure that you're not stretching as you're stitching this, because if you're stretching it, you could end up with it not laying flat, it could look stretched basically. You also want to make sure that the seam allowance is pointed towards the jersey so that you know that's what's actually being stitched down. Normally I would sew faster than this, but you know, I want to make sure you guys are seeing everything. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop here and I'll come back when I get to the other end. Okay guys, I've come back up on the other side, so now I'm going to finish this up so that you guys can see. Once you get closer, you're going to need to remove your pin. If your fabric moves, that's alright. You want to make sure that everything is laying flat, and that you're holding this in place. You don't want it to move around, and again, make sure that you're not stretching it. And just sew it in place now. Again, make sure you go slowly, readjust things if needed. And if you get a few stitches showing, that's okay, because we can remove those later. We only made the stitching on the band to hold it together in place, which makes this step easier, because then we're not worrying about that band sliding around and not being able to catch it when we do this step. Sorry guys, I keep forgetting to sit lower. Hopefully you've been able to catch all of this. There we go. Okay, let's pull it out and take a look to see how it looks. Guys, so here is our finished V-neck. See how it comes to a really nice sharp point. That's why I really like this technique. You might be able to see that I do have some stitches that are showing, and that's fine. I've got my seam ripper and I can just take those out now. Those stitches right there are really no big deal because we've already attached the neckband to the shirt, so taking those out isn't going to make a difference. So I hope that this video helps clear things up and makes it a lot easier to learn this technique. Thank you.